My good friend and fellow black belt Michael Sands, who you have seen on the channel before, had a great suggestion for a video topic today. He suggested talking about how to mature our game in Jiu Jitsu. How do we go from complete beginner to seasoned expert? Are there phases in that journey, in that maturing journey, and can we quantify those things? And I think we can. So let's talk about it. Before we begin, I just want to mention that Old Grappler Summit is approaching very, very fast. We're only about 4 weeks away, almost completely sold out. We've got a few slots left for any people that are still on the fence at this point. If that's you, I suggest you get off the fence because we will sell out. For more information, just visit oldgrapplersummit.com, and I hope to see you there. Okay, let's talk about the process of maturing our game. I think there are 6 phases in the journey of Jiu Jitsu. If we look at it from that perspective, that we are trying to take our game from a beginner level to an advanced practitioner, I think there are 6 phases. 5 of those phases aligns pretty well with the belt system in Jiu Jitsu. Not perfectly, because these phases are not perfectly fixed in that there's not an exact start and end point. It's more of a gradation over time. But each of these phases has a certain character to it, a certain orientation to it, a certain mindset that you bring, and so on. And so let's talk about them. Phase 1 is the foundational period of Jiu Jitsu, and in my opinion, it's the most important phase because you're laying a foundation for everything that comes next. And if your foundation is poor, if you have glaring gaps in your knowledge, you've got inconsistencies in your understanding, then you're not going to have the kind of foundation you need to really build an excellent game in Jiu Jitsu. The truth is, at white belt, there is an immense amount of stuff that you're going to have to learn. And because there's so much to learn, it's really like a fire hose of information. You're not going to be able to go particularly deep into those things yet. That comes later. So as a new white belt, it's important to have the mindset of just being a sponge, being a good student who comes to class consistently, who shows curiosity, right? Become a little bit of a nerd during that journey because there really is a ton of stuff to learn as a white belt. You've got to learn the 4 major positions: back, mount, side control, guard. You have to learn those positions top and bottom. You're going to have to learn some minor positions like knee on belly and half guard. You're going to probably learn a little bit of open guard, maybe some butterfly guard, maybe some de la Riva or spider guard or lasso guard. You're going to probably learn some leg locks, at least a straight ankle lock and a knee bar. You're going to learn some sweeps, flower sweep, butterfly sweep, scissor sweep. You're going to probably learn some takedowns, both wrestling style, things like double legs and single legs, and some judo style throws. And you'll have to learn to defend those things. That is a ton of stuff. So don't get too preoccupied on the details yet. The details come later. You're not going to be hugely effective during the foundational period, but you should focus especially on defense and survival. Survival is the base of the pyramid of Jiu Jitsu. If I mount you, can you make yourself really hard to tap? Do you know how to protect your neck? Do you know how to protect your arms and your shoulders in that position? So that's foundational, survival. And then developing an effective defense. If I mount you, do you know a trap and roll? Do you know an elbow knee escape? Do you know at least a couple ways of getting out from each of these positions? And then offensively, if I put you in mount, do you know how to control that position? Do you know how to set up chokes and arm bars and shoulder locks from that position? So that is a lot to learn. Don't worry about the details too much. Just focus on being a good student, and everything else will take care of itself. Phase 2 is the refinement phase, which correlates loosely with the blue belt journey. Not exactly, because you will refine your game forever, but really this is something that begins at blue belt, where you realize that you've learned a lot as a white belt, but you still haven't put it together into a very effective way yet. You're still having a lot of struggles on the mat. You're getting dominated, you're getting tapped, or you're seeing opportunities to dominate and tap, but you're not all that successful with those things yet. And the solution to those things is to go deeper into those positions and techniques, because ultimately effectiveness is a byproduct of mastery of the details of jiu-jitsu. And those details are not something that you're going to get as a white belt. It's something that you will begin to work on as a blue belt. So your mindset needs to be one of efficiency, of seeking the path of greater technique more than physical attributes. When you're a white belt, every white belt thinks, man, I got to get in better shape. I got to get stronger and faster. I got to work on the engine. But you start realizing at blue belt that that's not the correct pathway. Not that those things aren't bad. I mean, sure, go to the gym, lift weights, and all that stuff's great. But ultimately, jiu-jitsu is a technology. And so your mastery of the technique is what's going to let you be effective and efficient. So have a mindset that seeks the efficient path during your refinement phase, and it will serve you well. Phase 3 is the integration phase, and that correlates roughly with the purple belt journey. At white belt, you have built a foundation, hopefully. At blue belt, you have gone deeper into those things. At purple belt, what you're trying to do is put it together in a cohesive, interconnected game. The mindset that you need to have during the integration phase is one of, it's a flowcharting mindset, because what the purple belt needs is to always have that next solution ready to go. When someone defends one of your attacks, do you have the follow-up? If someone attacks you, do you have a defense? If they counter your defense, do you have a defense to that counter, and so on? So it's kind of a flow-charting mentality where you take a deep look at your game and everything you do, all the positions you play, and you're trying to shore up all of the connective tissue in between those positions and those techniques in order to get to the advanced game. The purple belt is a solid intermediate level player on the way to the advanced level game. And what gets you there is having that flow charting mentality that's going to let you organize your game into something that's much more cohesive. You can use people's momentum. You're able to work toward goals that are several steps ahead, right? When you're a blue belt, it tends to be all or nothing. You try something. If it fails, then you reset. Whereas at purple belt, you try something, it fails. Well, you've got the next thing ready to go, next thing, next thing, next thing. And that's a very different mentality. It takes a lot more depth and a lot more understanding to get to that point. Phase 4 is the specialization phase, roughly correlated to the brown belt journey. The mindset that you should have during this part of the journey is one of wanting to become deadly at your A game. This is the time of your journey where you go really deep into that small subset of things that you do very, very well, because you want to be exceptional at certain things. That doesn't mean that you're neglecting the totality of your game. Doesn't mean that you are not trying to shore up deficiencies and balance yourself. It just means that your overall mindset is one of wanting to become really great at the components that make up your A game. And John Danaher talks about the importance of every jiu-jitsu practitioner having something, 1, 2, or 3 things that puts fear in the heart of their opponents. And that's something that I think you can develop during the specialization phase, and you'll naturally do that as part of that brown belt journey leading up to black belt. Phase 5 would be what I call the personal expression phase of jiu-jitsu, and that usually starts pretty close to you getting a black belt, and it goes forever. And that is where your expression of jiu-jitsu is uniquely yours, based on your influences, based on your personality, based on your physical attributes, based on your mental attributes, based on the things that you like to do. You've achieved some level of mastery, and now you're simply demonstrating that in a way that's unique to you. And that journey goes forever, because what you're looking to do year after year after year of training is to become more and more effective while you're becoming more and more efficient. It's maximal effectiveness with minimal effort is really the holy grail of jiu-jitsu. And that's the mindset, is one of attempting to become maximally efficient or maximally effective while becoming maximally efficient. And that requires kind of a playful mindset, an exploratory mindset. Not that you can't turn up the intensity when you need to get the job done, but that's not usually how you approach roles on a day-to-day basis. It's more about showcasing your uniqueness in jiu-jitsu. The last phase is the contribution phase, which is where you give back to the art of jiu-jitsu through teaching. Now, most jiu-jitsu practitioners never teach, including black belts. I know a lot of black belts that have no interest in teaching, and they're great. It's not that you can't achieve mastery without teaching. You can, but there is a depth of knowledge, a depth of understanding that, in my opinion, you will never achieve if you don't teach, because it's in the act of explaining how to do something that is where you begin to get those deeper insights into those techniques and those positions. So much of what we do in jiu-jitsu, especially once you get to brown belt and black belt, you're simply operating intuitively without thinking about it. And so we might not be fully aware of the things that we do in any given role, but when you have to explain it to someone, again, that's, I think, where the real learning begins. And so the mindset that I think is important to have during this time is the mindset that by teaching others, you are actually teaching yourself more deeply. So those are my thoughts on the 6 phases of jiu-jitsu. And I just came up with this today thinking about it. I could be way off on some of this stuff. So now it's your turn to let me know if I missed something, or if you think about the phases differently than I do. Have at it below. And thanks for watching. And I look forward to talking with you again real soon.